fixes, they defend your bump hip sweep. What can you do off of that setup? The other thing I wanted to show is what happens when you try to do a bump hip sweep to somebody significantly bigger, significantly smaller, etc. Okay? So we're going to start there with the significantly smaller, bigger, so you have to pick your size with the bump hip sweep. James! Fundamentals of choosing which sweep to do, okay? So between the bump hip sweep and the scissor sweep, there is some posture for him that tells you which one you should choose. Sat back in his base, in a good closed guard base, good closed guard base. Okay, so see how he sit back in his base, okay? If he sat back in his base, I am going to have trouble scissor sweeping him, okay? Because scissor sweeping pull him up and over, right? I'm going to have a better time to bump hip sweep him. But he's got a good solid base right here. He's not committed backwards. So if he's bent backwards because I'm coming this way and he bends backwards, if I'm in a closed guard, I'm going to be able to bump hip sweep him because he's back off his knees. In a scissor sweep, I want him pulled up on his, come on bud, let me fix it. Okay, up on the front of his kneecap. You can see it, okay? So if he sat back, on the back here, his kneecap's not, I want him up on the front of his kneecap, okay? I know, I'm gonna put it into a second, but see how he's in the front of it, okay? Scissor sweep in no-gi is not amazing choice because I don't have the grips, but I can do it here. So we have this grip, and we pull him up here in a collar tie, and I pull him up. See how he's on the front of his knee. I'm going down, right? I pull him up and can actually make it work. Okay? Back. All right, now bump hip sweep. So if he's overcommitted back, okay? Who knows what we do with this arm? You guys know the bump hip sweep? Generally speaking, think about it. What do you do with this arm? Okay? I want his shoulder in my armpit, so I'm going to reach across. I must open my guard, and I want this hand, so he can't go anywhere. Up his shoulder in my armpit. See how this doesn't work so good? If I'm doing this to Will, this is a problem. Because in order to make it work, I've got to have him forward. If Will is forward, I can't fix that. I can fix it with James. So I'm going to post myself, grab his tricep, take away his post, come up. Right now, see how he's back? Hit him with my hip, and over we go. And I have this arm still connected and controlled. And I can take this arm and do as I wish with it. I have a lot of options. He's controlled. I didn't hurt him. This is a decent thing to do to somebody who's smaller than you, who you wish to sweep with control. But I have to, see how far I've got to deal. I can't even hardly close my guard. Let me close my guard. Okay, so I'm already, this is just looking at this from my perspective. Me bump hip sweeping Josh is not a great choice from here. I've got to do a lot of work to get to my position. I can't get my shoulder over his arm, lots of problems. I can work toward it to make him do stuff, right? He's gonna respond. What are you gonna do? I don't know. Okay, I can go for a kimura if I want to, depending on what he does. So I have failed my bump hip sweep, but I made him do something. So if we're, go ahead, back to closed guard. If we're in closed guard and I can't progress and neither can he, I can cause a response. He's gonna do something here. He's not gonna just sit here and take it, okay? But it's gonna be really hard for me to bump hip sweep him. All his weight is doing everything correct. So I make him come up here. So I'm on the floor right now. My hip is on the floor. I do not want my hip on the floor, but I want control here. I'm going to step up and hit and come over. And it works pretty well when they're the right size. Okay? Don't try to move a mountain with bump hip sweep. But you can fail bump hip sweep and move into a kimura, etc. Okay? Sorry? Exactly. Then you have different, you went down a different. So you were framing like this. Josh does not care. He's just gonna roll, see how he's gonna shove, okay? So, or he's gonna roll the other way, roll your head this way to my hand, and see how it makes that of no effect?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to find that bony part and sink my fingers into it, find a grip there. I'm not even gonna use my thumb. I'm going to use that to can opener see how my elbow is tucked close? I'm going to bring it out and up into his carotid. See how he moves, he's going to move some way. He might shove into that, but it hurts. And I'm going to make sure that I have not applying the flat, I'm applying the bone to make this very uncomfortable because he's shoving into me. He can leave anytime. He does not need to stay here and be a jerk.
I was
Right?
wondering, like, if he can, would it be beneficial for him to swap his head? Like, are you vulnerable there for him to swap his head underneath the arm? You frame off of me. No, I'm trying to. Oh, you stopped it. Right. Okay.
Okay, so just so you know, you're really overcommitted over there. I'm not gonna be able to flip you, but somebody, right? Okay, so drop on this side. Yep, try to collapse this half of my rib cage is where you want your weight. There it is. Yeah, much better.
Knee or hip, knee or armpit.
Yep.
Okay.
If you can put your knee in my armpit, but I'm short, so and you're quite long by comparison.
Is it your hips back as far as you can?
Okay. Yep. Now, something else you can do. These fingers have no job. Stick them in my armpit like a hook, and move this knee a little bit because it's gonna hurt. Move your knee backwards. Okay. Now do a row. Pull me with that hook on that armpit. Pull backwards.
Pull you in?
Yep, backwards. Elbow to your knee. Pull. Yep. There it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you feel that's very different for me? Okay. Yep. That's good. Perfect.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. I was making a point. Okay, put me back there. But watch what it does.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here, where everybody's in a good spot. I'm gonna pull here, I'm pulling here, and I'm going to put my elbow here. See, I have my toes. So where's all the pressure go? Smush. There. Okay, so bridge. See how, right?
I think that's where the pressure went.
That's where the pressure went because I said I don't want it, and you said okay. So I'm gonna oompa here. Okay, bottom knee goes down and across, and you left your arm, so I'm gonna keep it.